I just want to show you this wonderful gospel book. It has been made for us by Father Christopher, who you may recall we go and see, who lives in the Scottish Highlands. And I don't know how many hours he spent on making this, but it's a wonderful gift to the parish. Now, I'm not actually going to try and give a full sermon because my throat is very uncertain as to whether it's going to function or not. But one of the things about the Bible is, or I have to say the gospel, because in that book there is just the gospel, as it's the gospels in Matthew, Mark, Luke and John. There's nothing else at all, just to point out to the centrality of the gospels within the scriptures, of course. And one of the things about why I do these little sheets of giving you the readings, because sometimes it is difficult to take in the whole of what is read in the readings. It's kind of, I think we suffer a lot from attention fatigue. We can't concentrate for so long and we don't grasp the whole of what is being read. But sometimes, of course, comes out and perhaps hits you a lot more strongly, is one sentence in the readings. And it's always worthwhile, if you feel, I've got a whole page of scriptures to look at, just look for the reading that is going to strike you as something God is saying to you. I mean, just for example, so Paul is, might say, going on a bit about the flesh and being circumcised and uncircumcised and all this business, and you think, what's all this about? And then suddenly he says, from now on, let no one cause me trouble, for you are bear in the body the marks of the Lord Jesus. And somehow you see something about the discipleship of St. Paul, the devotion of St. Paul to the gospel. And it comes out in a little flash like that, and it's perhaps worth, if you spot a phrase like that, and it hits you, to take this home with you and look at it again and ponder it when you get that fabled spare 5 minutes, which I'm sure you can, of peace and quiet, to be able to ponder on some of these verses. And of course, the gospel today is again one of those sayings when Jesus meets this young man who is all eager to follow Christ. But Jesus, in loving him, pointed out the one thing, the challenge that he wasn't taking into account. He says, you still lack one thing. Well, I always think he's jolly lucky to only lack one thing. I'm lacking half a dozen, if not 21. But there we are. He is lacking one thing. And the one thing in this instance was to sell everything you have and give to the poor, and come, you will have treasure in heaven, and come follow me. Well, this is the challenge of all, is whatever the particular point in our life, in our hearts, in our minds, in our souls, that God knows is not following him, he likes to put his finger on it and say, how are you doing? I love you so much, but just pay attention to this little thing, and I will love you a lot more. So that's again another little sentence which might come out and is worthy of looking at during the course of the week. Now, because my voice already, I can feel it's of weakening, I thought that if I don't give a full sermon, perhaps I could turn to the saints and find one little sentence out of a saint for you to take home and think. Now, this is one of my favourite little sentences. It's taken from a saint you perhaps haven't heard of, St. Ita, spelled I-T-A. St. Ita, who lived at Kelidi, which means the Church of St. Ita, and she was, this is in the 5th century, she was a very famous young lady, or in the sense that she, if I remember rightly, taught St. Brendan the Navigator, and so on. And she said this: one thing you need is faith in God, with purity in heart, with simplicity of life, with the practice of faith, and generosity with love. Wonderful. Wonderful. Take this home and take it into your soul. Let it start a little fire inside saying, now this is the gospel, come follow me. Just listen again. You can say it's difficult. It's almost so simple, it goes underneath your radar screen, so to speak. This is what we taught. Faith in God with purity of heart. Simplicity of life with the practice of faith. Generosity of love with love. You got it? You got it? Is it stirring something inside you? She taught faith in God with purity of heart. Simplicity of life, the practice of faith, and generosity with love. Think on these things, and may the Lord bless you this week.